जियोग्राफी का और भी कुछ टॉपिक पढ़ूंगा, तो इस वीडियो आप देखते रहिए। तो पहला जो यहाँ पे एक चैप्टर है, तो ये चैप्टर है क्लाइमेट। Climate refers to the sum total of the weather conditions and the variations over the large area for a long period of time. The climate of India is the monsoon type character characterized by a distinct seasonal pattern, which is found mainly in the South Asia and the Southeast Asia. Monsoon word come from the Arabic word mousim, means season. It is the seasonal the reversals of wind direction during a year. Weather refers to the state of the atmosphere over an area at any point of time. Factor affecting Indian's climate. Indian climate is the controlled by the number of the factor which can be divided into two groups. Number one, the factor related to the locations and relief. Latitude. The Tropic of Cancer divided India, placing the northern part in the subtropical and the temperate zones and the southern part in the tropical zone. Altitude. Elevated regions are cooler due to the decline in temperature with height. The Himalayas. It the sheltered Indians from the old cold northern wind originating near the Arctic Circle. They also have the monsoon wind, distributions of the land and the water, differential heatings of the land and sea water heat up or the cools down slow. That creates different air the pressure zone in different seasons in the Indian subcontinent that causes reversal in the direction of monsoon wind. Proximity to the sea. The coastline area have the balanced climate and the distance location from the sea experience more the personance the seasonal contrast relief. Indians the topography the influence temperature rainfalls and wind patterns, that is by example the windwater side of the western Ghat receives the high rainfall while the lee water side the remain the relative dry. Point number 2, the factor related to the air pressure and wind. The surface pressure and the wind the Indian lies in the region of the north easterly wind origin subtropical high pressures belt of the northern hemisphere bring titles or no rain. Monsoon wind. The southwest monsoon, which lasts from the June to September, is the most significant factor influencing Indian's climate. The monsoon wind originating over the Indian Ocean bring the substantial rainfall to most part of the country, jet stream and the upper air circulation. Western cycling disturbance and tropical cyclones. Key concept in the global air the circulation. Jet stream formation, the mechanisms and the global climate impact. Jet stream are the narrow, fast-moving air the current the located at the high altitude in the atmosphere, tropical between the 9 to 16 kilometers, 3,000 to 50,000 feet above the Earth's surface. They form due to the temperature contract contrast between the cold polar regions and the warmer tropical zone. This temperature difference created at the strong pressure the gradient, causing air to the move the quickly from the high pressure area to low pressure areas, the resulting in the formation of the jet stream. The primary jet stream are polar jet stream from the between the cold polar air and the warm mid latitude air. The subtropical jet stream from the between the tropical air and the mid latitude air. Jet stream the tropical flow from west to east, but they are the meandering, changing in direction and the intensity is the influences by the several factors including the seasonal sense, the earth's rotations and the variations in the surface temperature. Walker circulation normal is that El Nino and La Nino mechanism. The differential heating of the equatorial Pacific Ocean creates the temperature gradient between the eastern cooler and the western warmer Pacific. This leads to the low pressure in the west and the high pressure in the east. Warm air rises in the western Pacific, landing to heavy rainfall in the Southeast Asia, while the decaying air over the Australia creates high pressures, supersing cloud formation and the resulting in dry condition effect. This pattern led to the normal rainfall distribution with the weather condition in the Southeast Asia and the drier condition in Australia. El Nino mechanism. El Nino occurs when the use the westward the movement of the warm water in the Pacific Ocean weakens or the reverse, causing the sea surface temperatures to rise in the central and the eastern Pacific. This disrupts the normal atmospheric circulation by the weakens the trade winds and reading varieties of oiling in the western Pacific. Consequently, the rising air over the western Pacific weakens and the areas like the Southeast Asia experience lower rainfall effect. Over Australia, the usual discanting air from the east no longer occurs, reducing pressure and increasing the likelihood of the drought and the heat wave. In the contrast, the western Pacific, including the South America, experience the more intense the rainfall and the flooding. La Nino, La Nina, ये क्वेश्चन यूपीएससी 2011 में आया था. ला नीना. Reasons for impact. La Nina is at the opposite of the El Nino and is the characterized by the stronger than the normal trade winds and the winds that push cold water toward the western Pacific. This the extend the normal welcome circulation, enhancing upwelling in the western Pacific and creating lower sea surface temperature. Rising air in the western Pacific is the intensified enhancing rainfall in the Southeast Asia and the Western Pacific. Effect: in Australia, the usually dry conditions are the reversed and increase the moisture lead to the higher rainfall, flooding, and the stronger monsoon patterns. The Eastern Pacific, that is the South America, experience the reduced rainfall, resulting in the drought condition. Indian Ocean dipole, Indian ओशियन डाइपोल IOD, ये क्वेश्चन यूपीएससी 2017 में आया था. मैकेनिज्म: the Indian Ocean dipole is the caused by the temperature difference between the western and the eastern Indian Ocean. At the positive IOD means the Indian Ocean dipole, full form. The occurs when the western Indian Ocean in the warm than the eastern Indian Ocean, creating the east to west pressure gradient, whereas at the negative IOD set up at the temperature difference across the tropical Indian Ocean, with the warmer than the normal water in the east and the cooler than normal water in the west. Effect: the negative IOD result in the drier conditions over Indian, the especially during the monsoon seasons, the leading to the weakened monsoon rains. In the contrast, the positive IOD when the western Indian Ocean in warm can the lead to the increase the rainfall in the region, the extending the monsoon. MJO, modern Julian oscillation, modern Julian oscillation, MJO. Mechanism: the MJO is another is what moving the pulse of the convections that the influence tropical rainfall pattern. The phase of the MJO can the modulate the intensity and duration of the monsoon by the extending of the weakening the monsoonal wind. Effect: the active MJO phase the lead to the enhanced rainfall in the Indian subcontinent, while it is the suppressed phase can the causes drier condition and the delay the onset of the monsoon rain. The MJO also the influence the tropic cyclone by the promoting or the inhibiting cyclogenist depending on it is the phase. These mechanisms are the crucial in the shaping the climate of the various regions by the affecting atmosphere circulation patterns, sea surface temperature, and moisture transport. Understanding this the dynamics provide the valuable insight into the seasonal variability, particularly for the agriculture, water management, and the disaster preparedness in the affected region. Seasons in India. Seasons in India. The meteorologists recognize the following four seasons. The number one, cold weather season, mid-November to February. Hot weather season, March to May. Southwest monsoon season, June to September. Retiring monsoon season, the October-November. Cold weather season, The surface pressure and when the weather conditions are generally influenced by the distribution of the pressure in the central and the western Asia. During winters, during winter is the high pressure zones that develop over the central Asia. The surface wind the blowing out of the regions that reach the Indian in the form of the dry continental air mass that comes in the contact with the trade winds over the northwestern India. The contact zone is not the stable and sometimes it the shift up to the middle Ganga Valley. Thus the beginning the entire northwestern India the influence of the northwesterly wind. Fable high pressure. The condition profile over the northern flank air pressure is the slightly lower in the South Indian winds instead the blowing over the northwestern high pressure zones to the low air pressure zones over the Indian Ocean in the south. That steam and the upper air circulation. During the winters, the subtropical westerly jet stream following across the Asian continent get the bifurcate at the Tibetan Himalaya. Northern branch below north of the Tibetan highland and the southern branch below in the westward direction, south to the south of the Himalayas. The southern branch has the significant influence on the winter weather. In the winter, the STWJ is more the prominent and help the maintain dry conditions by the pushing moist air away from the subcontinent as the high pressure is the maintained over the subcontinent. Western cyclonic disturbance and the tropical cyclones. The western cyclonic disturbance originate over the Mediterranean Sea and are brought into the Indian by the westerly jet stream. An increase in the prevailing night temperature generally they indicate and the advance in the arrival of this cyclone disturbance. They the fix up the moisture from the Caspian Sea in the north and the Persian Gulf in the south and the causes the winter rainfall in the northwest India. Although the total amount of the winter rainfall locally known as the Mahuat is small. They are the of immense the important for the cultivations of the rabi crops. The tropical cyclones that develop in the Bay of Bengal during the summer seasons. These the cyclones are the pushed toward Indian the western coast of coast by the northeast monsoon. On the coastings the rain they hit the Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh and Odisha coast. Tamil Nadu coast the experience rain during winter. Winter in the northern India can be the very cold with the temperature that sometimes the dropping below the freezing. This cold is the attributed to this the region. The state like Punjab, Haryana and Rajasthan are far away from the moderating influence of the sea and the experience continental climate. The snowfall in the Himalayan range that create the cold wave situation. Around the February, the cold wind coming from the Caspian Sea and the Turkmenistan bring Turkmenistan could wave along with the front and the fork over the northwestern part of India. In the contrast, the peninsular regions does not have any well defined cold weather seasons of due to the moderating influence of the sea, and it is the equatorial proximity. Rainfall. Winter monsoon do not causes the rainfall move from land to the sea because of the little humidity, and due to the anticyclonic circulations on land, some the exhibition. In the northwestern India, some the weak temperature cyclones from the Mediterranean Sea causes the rainfall in Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, and the western Uttar Pradesh. It is in the form of the snowfall in the lower Himalayas, uh, precipitations that decrease from west to east in the plains and from north to the south in the mountains. ये क्वेश्चन यूपीएससी 2012 में आया था. The central part and the northern part of the southern peninsular occasionally get the winter rainfall. Arunachal Pradesh and Assam in the northeastern part, the Magre amount. Northeast monsoon during October and the November courses over the Bay of Bengal, the picks up the moisture and causes the rainfall over the Tamil Nadu coast, southern Andhra Pradesh, southeast the Karnataka, and the south is the Kerala. Hot weather season. The southern hot weather season. The southern Indian has either milder the summer due to it is the peninsular locations and the oceans the moderating effect. The coastal regions see minimal the temperature variations from the north to south, rather the temperature the increase from the coast to interior. Mechanism of the weather in the summer season, the surface pressures and wind. With the onset of the summer and the sun's northward movement, the Indians when the circulation see the reversal at the both the lower and the upper level. Low pressure belt enter the tropical conference zone ITCZ, shifted northward. Roughly the parallel to the Himalayas between the 20° north and 25° north by the middle of the July. By this the time the westerly jet stream withdraws from the North Indian plain northward shift of the equatorial troughs ITCZ, and the withdrawal of the westerly jet stream are the interlinked. ITZ and the low pressure zone attract inflow of the wind from the different directions. The maritime tropical air mass MT from the southern hemisphere crosses the equator and moves toward the low pressure area in the southwesterly direction, which the result in the southwest monsoon, jet stream and the upper air circulation in the zone and the easterly jet stream flow in the upper atmosphere over the southern part of the peninsula in August. It the follow at the 15-degree north and the September at 22-degree north. Tropical cyclone. Eastern jet stream that states the tropical depressions. The track of the depressions is an area of the highest rainfall in India. The famous local storms of the hot weather season. Low, hot and dry winds the blowing in the northern Spain. Mango shower. Pre-monsoon the showers that toward the end of the summer in Kerala and the coastal area of the Karnataka that half in the yearly refinings of mangoes. Blossom shower. It has the coffee the floor of the blossoms in the Kerala and the nearby areas. Northwesters. Evening the thunderstorm in Bengal and the Assam, locally known as the Kal Boishakhi. They are the useful for tea, jute and rice cultivation. They are the known as the Bordoloi Sila. Bordoloi Silha in Assam. Southwest monsoon season. The onset of the Indian monsoon typically occurs in early June, marked by the arrival of the southwest monsoon wind over the Kerala coast, signifying the beginning of the rainy season. This phenomenon is driven by the differential heatings of the land and water, the creating the low pressure area over the Indians, the subcontinent, and the big pressure area over the Indian Ocean, the Mascarenet High. The Intertropical Conference Zone ITCZ shifted northward, drawing the moisture laden the winds from the oceans toward the land. The monsoon onset is accompanied by the heavy rainfall, the thunderstorm, and the drop in temperature, bringing relief from the intense summer heat. It gradually the progresses northward, the covering the most of Indians by the mid-July. Circle from the agriculture and the water resources across the country. Mechanism. The mass create the high play the circular role in the monsoon mechanism, particularly in the dynamics of the Indian summer monsoon. Role during the southwest monsoon. The Mascarean High is the high pressure system located over the Indian Ocean near the Mascarean Island, Mauritius. Influence the monsoon by the driving winds across the Indian Ocean toward the Indian as the high pressure system stands. During the summer, it intensifies the southwest wind, which are the moisture laden toward the subcontinent. This enhances the monsoon rain, particularly on the western coast and the inland regions of India. Impact on the Indian monsoon. The position and the intensity of the Mascarean High after the eastern and the onset of the monsoon. When it is the strong, it helps in the maintaining the steady flow of the moist air toward the Indian Conversely, the wicks or the displays the masquerades high and causes distributions. In the monsoon, the leading to the weaker rainfall patterns, the Indian Ocean dipole, and the Seychelles high are the other system and other other system that interact with the Mascrian high, influencing the seasonal variability in the rainfall pattern. The thermal theory of the monsoon overview. This theory is proposed by the Sir Halley in the 17th century. Like the monsoon, the rainfall to the differential heatings and differential heatings of the land and the ocean mechanism. Summer, the Indian subcontinent heats up the intensity the causing at the drop in atmospheric pressure over the land. The surrounding oceans which heat up the slowly compared to the land have the higher pressure. This causes the most air from the oceans. To the follow the inland toward the low pressure zones the bringing rain. Winter, in the contrast, during the winter the land cools the faster than the ocean, the creating the high pressure zone over the land and the low pressure over the sea. This the causes dry winds to the blow from the land toward the sea, resulting in the dry winter season. Role of ITCZ, Intertropical Conference Zone. Overview: the ITCZ is the brand of the low pressure air headed from at the equator, where the trade winds of the northern and the southern hemisphere meet. Mechanism: the summer shift. During the monsoon season, the ITCZ shift the northward tropical between the 20° north and 25° north over the Indian subcontinent. This creates the low pressure system, drawing the moist air from the Indian Ocean toward the land. Winter shift: the ITCZ the shift southward during the winter, moving the near the equator, and thus the causing the reversals of the monsoon wind. Impact on the monsoon onset: the northward shift of the ITCZ in the summer in the K driver in the onset of the southwest monsoon, as it the act as the magnet for the moist wind to coverage from the southern hemisphere, resulting in the rainfall. Dynamic theory and the role of the jet stream. Overview: the theory emphasizes the role of the jet stream in the controlling monsoon dynamics, particularly the subtropical westerly jet STWJ and the Somali jet. The subtropical jet. Subtropical, the westerly that STWZ mechanism. The STWZ which the blow from the west to east across the northern India during the winter weakness and the shift northward in the summer. It is the withdrawal is the circle for the onset of the monsoon. The retreat of the STWZ allow the establishment of the low pressure zones over Indian, which the facilitates the inflow of the moist air from the southwest. Monsoon break. It is the explained by the re-establishment of STWZ over Indian, which the lead to the high pressure again and the resultant break in monsoon. Somalia jet mechanism. The Somalia jet is at the low level jet stream that the stand during the summer, not summer month. Is a form over the Arabian Sea due to the differential heatings between the land and the ocean. This jet stream help to the channel moisture London winds from the Indian Ocean into the Indian, thereby the enhancing the southwest monsoon impact on monsoon. The Somalia that direct the flow of the monsoon wind toward the subcontinent, which is critical for the eastern and the timing of the monsoon rain. Tibetan Plateau and the Tibetan law. Overview. The Tibetan Plateau plays a central role in the monsoon the dynamics due to it is the large size and the high elevations creating significant atmosphere affected during the summer. Mechanism. Thermal heating. During the summer, the Tibetan Plateau heats up intensely, creating the low pressure zones known as the Tibetan low. These low pressure areas attract moist air from the surrounding ocean. Elevation impact. The plateaus at the high elevation also lead to the development of the strong upper level circulation, including the formations of the subtropical westerly jet and the Somalian jet, both of which influence the monsoon, the eastern and the direction. Monsoon onset. The Tibetan law is critical for the onset of the Indian monsoon, as it is act as the focal point for the year conference and the creations of the monsoon through the branches of the monsoon, Arabian Sea branch, Western Ghat and the rain shadow effect. The monsoon winds from the Arabian Sea ascend to the Western Ghat, the slopes, the cooling down in the process and the causing the orography rainfall. Sahyadri and the coastal plain get high the rainfall 250 to 400 centimeter. After crossing the windward side, the wind descent, the warm up and the loses moisture, thus the resulting in the minimal rainfall on the iceward side of Ghat. Central Indian the impact. Another branch moves through the Narmada and the Tapi River Valley. The beginning rainfall to vast area of the central India. Eventually this wind reaches the Ganga plains and the Mars with the monsoon wind of the Bay of Bengal. The Chota Nagpur Plateau receives some the rainfall from this branch. Northwest Indian and the Himalayan influence. The third branch hits the Saurashtra Peninsula and the Kutcha, moving the parallel to the Aravallis, producing limited rainfall. In the Punjab and the Haryana, it the cooperates with the Bay of Bengal monsoon branch, uh, producing rain in the western Himalaya. Bay of Bengal branch initially hit the Myanmar coast and the part of the southeast Bangladesh. Arakan Hills along Myanmar coast the redirect the significant portion of this branch that toward the Indian subcontinent. Monsoon the entire West Bengal and the Bangladesh from the south and the southeast. Influenced by the Himalayan and the thermal low in the northwest Indian, this monsoon branch is divided into two major streams. One stream moves the westward along the Ganga plains, extending to the Punjab plain. The other hit north, traveling up the Brahmaputra valley. It is a sub-branch targets the Garo and the Khashi Hill in Meghalaya. Mausiram, the Khashi Hills that receive the highest average annual rainfall due to the funneling effect. The Tamil Nadu coast in the situated parallel to and in the rain shadow area of the Bay of Bengal branch and the Arabian Sea branch, that respectively it is the received rain from the northeast branch of the retiring monsoon wind. The retiring monsoon season, the transition season. The month of October and November mark the phase by the retiring monsoon. By the September in the southwest monsoon the weekends due to the southward shift of the low pressure through from the Ganga plains due to the southward movement of the sun. During this the the clear skies the dominate and the temperature rise, while the temperature are the high, night are the cool and the pleasant. The high temperature and the humidity lead to the October heat. The October heat that refer to the hot and the oppressive weather. The condition that experienced in the Indian during the post-monsoon or the retiring monsoon season. The typically in the October, it is the characterized by the reaching the temperature, high humidity and the calm winds. It can the halt to the high issues such as the deterrence hit the exceptions and the discomfort, especially in the northern plains and the central India. The onset of the northeast monsoon in the southeast eastern and the cooler winds from the north signal the end of October heat. The cyclonic influence, the rainfall in this monsoon season is primarily due to the cyclonic depressions originating over the Andaman Sea. Effective deltas of the rivers like the Godavari, Krishna and the Kaveri cyclones are the less prevalent in the Arabian Sea. The Coromandel coast mainly the get it is the rain from this the cyclonic event. Characteristics of the monsoon rainfall. Rainfall from the southwest monsoon is the seasonal June to September. The monsoon rainfall is the largely governed by relief of the topography. Windward side of the mountain receives more the rainfall. The rainfall decreases with increasing distance from the sea. The what spirit are the inter spirit with the rainless intervals. Breaks. These the breaks in the rainfall are the related to the pathway of the cyclonic depressions, mainly the form in the Bay of Bengal, that determines the spatial distributions of the rainfall. Traditional Indian seasons. The Basanta season month according to the Indian calendar. Chitra Boishakha month according to the uh, Gregorian calendar. March April. Grishma Jyotishta and Ashadha May June. Barsha Sabanna Bandra July August. Sharada Ashabina Kartika September October. Hemanta Margishra Pausha and November December. Shishira Meghna Palguna January February. In the Indian traditional, this year is the distributed divided into 6 seasons, is the lasting 2 months. The average the annual rainfall in Indian is about the 125 centimeter with the great spatial variation. The high rainfall zones with the rainfall over the 200 centimeter, the west coast, western Ghat and the sub-Himalayan areas in the northeast. Rainfall greater than 1000 centimeter in the some part of the Khashi and the Jaintia hills. The Brahmaputra valley and the adjoining hills get the slightly less, under the 200 centimeter. Medium rainfall zone with the rainfall between the 100 to 200 centimeters. Southern Gujarat is Tamil Nadu, northeastern peninsular and the covering the Odisha, Jharkhand, Bihar, eastern Madhya Pradesh, the northern Ganga plains along the sub-Himalayas and the Kasar Valley and Manipur. Low rainfall zones with the rainfall between the 50 to 100 centimeter western Uttar Pradesh, Delhi, Haryana, Punjab, Jammu and Kashmir, eastern Rajasthan, Gujarat and the Deccan Plateau. Inadequate rainfall zones with the rainfall less than 50 centimeter part of the peninsula, specifically in Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Ladakh and most of the western Rajasthan. Snowfall. This the phenomena is the limited to the Himalayan region. Variability of the rainfall. The values of the coefficient of the variations show the changes from the means. The values of the rainfall areas with less than 25 degree Celsius of the variability. The western coast, the western Ghat, northeastern part peninsular, eastern Ganga plains, the northeastern India, Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh and the southern western the Jammu and Kashmir. These areas have the annual rainfall greater than 100 centimeter. The areas with the greater than 50% variability. The regions like the western Rajasthan, northern Jammu and Kashmir and the interior Deccan Plateaus, these areas have the annual rainfall less than 50 centimeter. Areas with the 25% to 50% variability. The remaining part of the Indian receiving between the 50 to 100 centimeter of the rainfall. The climatic regions of India. Coefficients classification. It is the base upon the specific letter, the symbol such as the S for semi-arid regions and the W for arid regions. The further subdivisions were the marked by the additional lower cases, the letter like the F from the sufficient uh, precipitations, or M for the rainforest with a dry monsoon seasons. He delineated five the primary climate types. The tropical climate A, the mean monthly temperature are the constantly above the uh, 80, 18 Celsius throughout this year. Dry climate B, the precipitation is notably low the relative to the temperature. These are the feathers the categories as the semi-arid S or the arid W. The warm temperature climate. The coldest month has the mean the temperature the ranging between the 18 Celsius and the -3 Celsius. Cold temperature the climate D. The warmest month the average above the 10 degrees Celsius, while the cold west month falls below the -3. By the climates be the precipitation is noted by law the relatives to the temperature. These are the features the categories as the semi-arid S or the arid W. The warm temperature climate C. The coldest the month has the mean the temperature ranging between the 80 degrees Celsius and -3 degrees Celsius. Cold temperature the climate D. The warmest the month the average the above 10 degrees Celsius, where the coldest month of falls below the -3 degrees Celsius. The ice climate E, the warmest month mean the temperature remain the below 10 degrees Celsius. As per the Kyovan scheme, Indian the compresses the eight distinct climate region. Types of climate areas. AMW monsoon with a short dry season areas, the west coast of Indian south of Goa. AS monsoon with dry summer areas, the Coromandel coast of Tamil Nadu. AW tropical savanna, most of the peninsular plateaus south of the Tropic of Cancer, north western Gujarat, some part of the western Rajasthan and the Punjab. BW the semi-arid the trip climate. The BW is the hot desert extreme the western Rajasthan. CWZ monsoons with the dry winter. Ganga Bilan western Rajasthan, the northern Madhya Pradesh, most of the northeast India. DFC cold humidity winter with a short summer. E polar types. Arunachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. Thank you so much. तो कुछ टॉपिक और भी है, तो उसके बारे में भी डिस्कशन करूँगा। तो आज के लिए अभी इस लाइव सीजन को कैसे लगा कमेंट कर देना। तो एग्ज़ाम भी नज़दीक है, ऑलरेडी आज यूपीएससी का रिज़ल्ट दे दिया। इस बार टॉप किया था एक लेडीज़ दुबे मैम ने। तो मेहनत तो करने पड़ेगा, मंजिल कहाँ है मेरे को मालूम नहीं, तो मैं मेहनत करूँगा। तो मंजिल जब तक नहीं मिलेगा तब तक मेहनत करूँगा। तो थैंक यू सो मच। थैंक यू।